Hello and welcome to day 15 of Healing from Unavailable Love with Marina. This week I would like to explore why we stay, and some fortunate people enter adult relationships already knowing that love can be steady, safe, and available. Others begin with unfair disadvantage. They learned that love could leave, disappear emotionally, become conditional, or require constant effort. Abandonment does not always mean that somebody deliberately walked away. A parent may have passed away, become ill, struggled emotionally, or remained physically present but unable to meet your needs. This is not about blaming your family. It is about recognizing really what the younger you may have concluded when love was unavailable to you. When a parent leaves, a child rarely asks what prevented that adult from staying. They may ask what was wrong with them. Perhaps somebody walked away, started another family, passed away, became ill, or disappeared into addiction, work, or their own pain. Whatever the reason, you were left with an absence you were too young to understand. A child might decide, if I had been easier, better, or more lovable, perhaps they would have stayed, or perhaps they would be different, perhaps they would love me. Years later, you may still be trying to prove that conclusion wrong through people who also keep leaving you emotionally. Really tell yourself the truth here. What did the younger you decide their absence meant about you? Sometimes the deepest abandonment happens while everybody is still living in the same house. Your parent was physically present but emotionally unreachable. Perhaps your feelings were dismissed. Your comfort depended on their mood. You learned not to ask too much because they were overwhelmed, angry, or unavailable. You may struggle to call this abandonment because they fed you, clothed you, or stayed. But a child can be surrounded by family and still feel completely alone. Eventually, you may stop expressing needs that nobody consistently answers. What need did you learn to silence because asking for it changed nothing? If love arrived mainly when you achieved something, being good enough may still feel like your full-time job. Perhaps you received attention for behaving well, succeeding, or causing no problems. You learned to become useful instead of emotionally honest. Now Your manager's approval can decide how you feel about yourself. You work harder, stay later, and accept more because recognition feels like love once did. Scarce, conditional, and easily withdrawn. The workplace may be new, but the emotional assignment is familiar. Prove your value, and perhaps this time somebody important will finally see you and approve of you. Whose love are you still trying to earn every time you overwork for somebody's approval? You may call it loyalty, but perhaps chasing connection became normal long before this friendship began. As a child, you learned to notice when somebody was withdrawn. You became sensitive to tone, silence, and changing moods. Now you are the friend who always checks in, always organizes, always repairs the distance. When they become unavailable, you increase your effort because doing nothing feels like allowing another person to disappear. You may not be maintaining the friendship, you may be trying to prevent an old goodbye from happening again. Which part of this friendship feels familiar because you have spent your life chasing people who were already withdrawn? Sometimes you do not want the unavailable person. You want the verdict their choice would deliver. If they finally commit, it means you were worth staying for. If your boss recognizes you, it means you were always good enough. If your friend chooses you, it means you were never forgettable. The present connection becomes a trial in which somebody from today is expected to overturn a conclusion formed years ago. That is why walking away can feel unbearable. You are not only releasing them, you believe you are losing your chance to prove that the original abandonment was never about your worth. If this person finally chooses you, what painful belief about the younger you would their choice supposedly disprove? An unfair beginning may explain the pattern, but it does not have to decide the ending. You did not choose the family you entered. You did not choose what was unavailable to you. You adapted, you learned to chase, perform, rescue, or disappear because connection mattered and you had very little power over it. In my work, I listen for the old rule that is still operating underneath the adult relationship. Not to spend years blaming the past and healing your inner child, no, but to reach the conclusion you formed there and question whether it still deserves authority over your life. If their absence never proved that you were unworthy, what would you no longer need to prove today? Today, instead of asking, what is wrong with me? Or what is wrong with them? Or how could they do this to me? Ask yourself, what did I have to believe about myself when the love I needed was unavailable? You were adapting to something you did not create and could not control. That was your unfair disadvantage. But the belief you formed then does not have to remain the truth in your life now. Imagine no longer asking a romantic partner, workplace, or friendship to answer a question that began long before they arrived. Imagine how your life would change if you and your well being became the priority.